Hey, I had a great question in the comments, and that was, if you were riding Brakeless, could you still do all your tricks? I want to take the time to address this because it is something, and it goes into a lot of detail, so I'm going to do my best to try and explain what my thoughts are on this. That's all about riding with brakes. Riding brakeless is one thing better than the other, or just because it's popular now to ride with no brakes and you do all the tricks and the bike looks clean and you don't have all these cables everywhere. But the tricks are, I think, exponentially more difficult, and I also, on a personal level, like to be able to stop. So, let me go back to the circus now. When I finished school, went to university, I didn't want a real job. I didn't realise at the time that I wanted to join the circus. And so I started as a high school teacher and I was still riding my bike, and I went to the circus festival and just thought, what the hell am I doing teaching? Why am I teaching? I don't want to do this. I want to be in the circus. So it was kind of at that point on, every decision I made was about getting into the circus. At that stage, I could already juggle. I was juggling at uni. I discovered the spaghetti circus that were in Mullumbimby. They were just over the hill from me, and I was in Nimbin in northern New South Wales. And they said, yeah, come and train with us. I was like, hell yeah. 2 or 3 times a week I would drive for an hour through all the back roads and dirt roads, and it was quite an adventure every afternoon to get to this little hall in the middle of the hills to do this training. And I loved the acrobatics, I loved the partner work, and so I had an acro partner and we worked on a little routine and did some juggling. And Leonie, the head circus woman, said, hey, do some tricks on your bike. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. Yes, do tricks on your bike. So I did, and the audience loved it. I was like, oh, okay, all right. At that point, it was all these old school tricks that I could do. I could do a hang five and a whiplash and a decade and those types of things, but I couldn't do multiple mega spins or McCircles or anything like that. So I just thought, oh, well, I can only do the basic tricks. And everyone's like, nah, you're really good. I'm like, oh, I'm not really. I can just do that. They're like, nah. I'm like, okay. And this kept happening, and I knew I wasn't very good, but the audience didn't seem to care. I didn't get that part of it, and I'll come back to that again in a little bit. I joined the community circus, move over there full time, and spend 12 months going around to the local schools teaching young kids to do circus tricks and training 3-4 times a week at the gym. Then I moved down to Melbourne and do the first year of the full-time training course, and finished that, tried to get into a circus and can't do it. At this stage I'm still focusing on acrobatics, and I was doing cord lease, which is climbing up a rope and doing tricks on the rope, and I was doing Chinese pole, which is climbing up a pole and doing tricks on the pole, and hoop diving and tumbling, and so that's essentially diving through hoops, jumping through hoops. And contact juggling, I still didn't see the BMX as a circus thing. A friend who was already in the circus asked me to teach her some tricks, and then the artistic director came by and I showed off a bit, and he was like, whoa, that's awesome. But still, the same thing, when I was making my BMX act, I still had these same thoughts. I'm not very good. I can only do basic tricks. However, everybody else went, this is awesome. But I was still like, nah, I'm not so good. And even when I was in the circus doing my tricks, I'd play it right down saying, oh, thanks, but really I'm not very good. And they're like, ah. And I just got to the point where I thought, well, actually, I know I'm not very good. However, the audience doesn't know. And who am I to tell them what they can and can't like? So if they want to tell me that I'm really good, that's okay. I will say thank you. I'm glad you like the show. And then it started to make more sense that it's like juggling. Juggling is the most boring thing you can do after about 30 seconds. Initially, wow, there's so many things going up in the air and coming back down again. But after 30 seconds, it's like there's still so many things going up in the air and coming back down. And I learnt that it's your relationship with the audience that they like to see on stage. So it doesn't matter what you do, if they like you, or if you can relate to the audience as a person, they can relate back to you, because they've got no idea what it's like to do a wheelie around in circles 10 times. They've got no idea what it's like to hang off a trapeze or climb up a pole or swing on the flying trapeze or have 7 people standing on you. But if you can humanise it, the audience can relate to that. That's what they will like. And so I've finished the circus and I've created my BMX show, and it's a 50-minute solo show of me doing BMX tricks, but the whole thing tells a story. So I'm not doing tricks for all of it. Maybe a third of the show I'm doing tricks. The other third is just goofing off and being silly and telling the story. But what I'm doing in this show and the tricks I'm doing in this show, they're all different tricks and they all look unique. So yes, I know that they are pretty much all old school tricks, and that's why I use my brakes. That's why I have a free wheel instead of a free coaster, because I do a wheelie around the stage and then I do it again later on in the show at almost a crawling speed, really slowly. I do a decade. I hop on the front wheel. I do that trick where you're bouncing on the front pegs and the frames going round and round and round. I don't know what that's called. I call it the helicopter. I do these tricks because they look different. Like, I know the pros are amazing with the tricks that they can do. Even with my expertise of BMX of, I don't know how long it's been now, 34 years, 33 years. I half the time can't tell what the hell's going on. They do it that quickly and they're spinning around that fast. And so to an average audience member, they would get bored of watching that for 15 minutes. So the tricks I do are very different. It's like you can ride forwards. I point out riding forwards, riding backwards, doing a wheelie on the front wheel or doing a wheelie on the back wheel, standing up on the handlebars, doing a decade, doing a boomerang. They're all different tricks, and they're all tricks that are easy to do, which is good because that means it's sustainable, which means you can do it every day. So when you're on tour doing up to 3 shows a day, you know you're going to be able to do these tricks, and you know you're going to be okay enough to be able to do it the next day and the day after that and the day after that. No, I couldn't do my current BMX show Brakeless, and also I wouldn't want to do my current BMX show Brakeless because that would change the point, and I think it would change the story and it would change the experience of the audience. Where I am right now, a particular journey that I lead the audience on, culminating in standing up on the handlebars, which just brings the house down. It's fantastic. And then taking it even further from that. I don't think I could do that riding Brakeless, and it'll be a completely different thing. And that's okay, because maybe in a few years' time, that's what I will do. But right now, I do like my brakes. I could still do some tricks Brakeless, but I kind of like the safety of having brakes and being able to save myself when I'm on stage. Okay, if you like the video, if you like the story, send it to a friend. That'll be awesome. Go out and ride your bike, and I'll see you again soon.